My name is Akot Sani from South Sudan, and my dream is to play professional football anywhere in the world. I left home with empty hands and a bag full of dreams and ambitions to become a professional footballer. Is it going to be easy? Of course not, but it is definitely worth it in the end. I have chosen to put my life into this, and there is no going back till I achieve my dream, because dreams are meant to be lived. Where there's a will, there is always a way. Welcome to my journey. This is the road to pro contract. So this is the story of how I signed my first professional football contract in Malaysia. So after the 2018-19 season with Amarat United, where I was registered, but the secretary had an error in my registration, I had to wait for the second round of the season to come around so that I can play. And I wasn't playing. I was just training, and so I was like, you know what, instead of staying here, obviously it was not a professional environment, I could just move on, go somewhere where I can be able to, like, get highlight videos, because at that point I was really serious in trying to leave home and go play professionally. And so I left South Sudan, I went to Uganda, and what I did was I was able to gather a group of boys and then call for friendly matches while I hire a camera guy to film me, because I knew that I wanted actually to get out so bad. And prior to that, I was trying to save up some money, and so I was getting guys. We go play matches, I rent out a field and we play. I get my go highlight video. The other guys didn't care though, they just wanted to know what's played. And after that, I'll get my video edited, and I would go to every football post on Facebook, and I paste my link there. And I got somebody from Brazil who was a little bit interested, and we got talking, but it never went anywhere. First forward, I got in contact with this agent from Spain, and he said, listen, I have a trial for you in this is December of 2019. I have a trial for you to come for UD San Sebastian de la Reyes. They were in I think Spanish 30 at the time, and he gave me an invitation to go there for trial. And so I had to quickly make sure that my passport was ready, because the passport I had was expiring, and I couldn't travel with it because it had less than 6 months for it to expire. So I had to go renew it, and then I headed back to Nairobi to go and apply for a visa. Long story short, I was denied a visa, but then I had this money at hand that I had saved to go for wherever I could go, like to buy the ticket to Spain if they did work, because the agent was not they were not paying for my flight or my visa. Even all the cost, I was the one bearing them. And I said no problem. So I was like, now where do I go from here, because clearly I'm not going to stay down with this money, and also I have smell a sniff of what could lie ahead of me, And I started looking around. I found Thailand was the easiest country that I could get a visa to. So I went, applied for a visa to go to Thailand. But the money that I had at hand was almost finished. I had about 500 at hand. The ticket was 1,200. I didn't have half of the money. So my best friend, he ended up giving me a laptop to go sell, which nobody was willing to buy, because people just when they know you're desperate, when you're selling something in a rush, people always want to cheat you. Long story short, I got the 500 plus another 100 my friend gave me. Basically I had about 600 cash and then the laptop. I went to a travel agency and I told them, listen, I need a flight ticket to Thailand. They're like, the ticket is 1,200. I'm like, yes, take the laptop and the 700. They started laughing. They're like, we don't do that here, we don't do butter trade. And after 1 hour and a half, I sat down with this lady. She was called Hanifa. She's like, I don't know what you're up to, but you look very determined, so I'm just going to issue out you the ticket, and good luck. I ended up missing the flight 3 times, and on my third attempt, I was able to get my flight to Bangkok. I landed on Bangkok, and the agent I was speaking to at the time had told me, listen, the highlight video from the friendly matches that I was sending to him, the one I'd organized with my friends, it was not sufficient. And he was saying, listen, first of all, the transfer window here is about to end in under 3 weeks, so there's really not much time for you. And second to that, you're still young.
I just turned 18, I think, going to 19. And he said, it's not ideal for you to come here. But I was stubborn. I didn't want to stay back home and have no direction of where I would go next. So I arrived in Bangkok and I gave him a phone call, used the airport Wi-Fi. And I said, listen, I'm here at the Bangkok airport. He's like, you've come? Well, since you're here, this is the address to my house. I'm not home right now, taking a player for trial. So do what you gotta do. I did have zero money. I had zero money in my pocket, basically. Somewhat, I found my way to his house, and he took me to a few trials. None of them, most of them were unsuccessful, until one club that I didn't even trial for, they seen me play, wanted to offer me a contract. And when they wanted to offer me a contract, they asked for my release later, and my club back in Africa, Amarat United, because the season was done. That means technically my 1 year that I signed with them was done. They refused to give me a release later, and I couldn't stay in Thailand because I had 1 month visa and I had stayed for 3 weeks. And I was like, I had to leave Thailand. I went to Laos. There was no football in Laos, and I had to find my way to Malaysia. And on going to Malaysia, I didn't have any connections. This is around March of 2020. And there was this one Brazilian agent. He told me, like, listen, I'm going to give you the contact of this one agent in Malaysia, but don't tell him I gave it to you. I said, okay. He gave me the contact. I flew down to Malaysia. I met up with the agent. I ended up signing a representation agreement with him, and he took me to a few trials. Most of them were unsuccessful until one was successful. And then there was this one, the club wanted to sign me, but unfortunately COVID hit. And when COVID hit, football stopped it started with 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, and until it crossed over to 2021. And in 2021 I started to go for now like open trials, because during that little break in between, they used to allow people to play social leagues and stuff like this. And I used to play there. I made some connections, and people were like, you're actually good, you can play higher. And there was one team that posted on their Facebook page that they were doing open trials. I signed up and I went down there, and there were more than 200 that were there. I made it through to the 26 players that they wanted to sign. Among the 26 players that they wanted to sign, what happened was we're supposed to have a friendly with the Malaysian Super League team. This is the 3rd division in Malaysia. And I was supposed to have a friendly match with the Super League team, but the Super League team ended up cancelling the friendly because they had the league game in the coming weeks, so they didn't want to fatigue their players. Long story short, the sponsor that was supposed to sponsor my visa as a foreigner kind of was a little bit reluctant, and nothing happened. I was like, I'm not waiting on them to come and make things work for me. So what I did, I went to another club within the same city, within Perak in Malaysia. It was called Kuala Kangsar FC, and I went there. They were doing trials. Again, over 200 players turned up, so they divided into two badges. The first week is 100 players, and out of the 100 players, some of them were from the other club, were from the one that went to trial with the other club and didn't make it. Then the second batch was the second 100, and I came in the second 100. After the first day, they came to me and they're like, we wanted to sign you. I said, cool. So from the first 100, they selected 20, and from the second day of 100, they selected 40 of us. They took us to a camp, and we were now living in a camp for about 2 weeks, so that they kept sorting out. They wanted to see. We started playing a bunch of friendly games. I was doing good. Initially, I went in as a winger, but they converted me to a 9. Anyway, now Pitusha. So, after like that while, after the 40 people, they had to trim us down to about 20 players, and I was offered a contract. They came to me and they're like, listen, we like you, we want to offer you X amount. I said, good. My life was relieved. They told me, go back home, pick your things, and come over, because I was going to live in a hotel, and the preseason starts. So I went back home, picked my things. 2 days later, I arrived back to the center, and I was put in a hotel. The foreign players had a big apartment that they had put them in. I was in a hotel, me and one guy from Ghana, plus one other guy from Timor-Leste, me, Ibra, and Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro is the captain of Timor-Leste national team. And we were there. We had to go sign the contract, and then the preseason starts. 2 weeks before the start of the season, COVID restriction again came up, and the teams were like, they don't have since the fans were not allowed in the games, they said there are no foreign players allowed in the league. They went for petition. Out of 20 teams, 15 voted in the favor of no foreigners, and that's how my contract got cancelled. So if you like this story, comment down below and we'll do part 2.